I am just mesmerized by your music. It's so phenomenal, and you know, and I know that you're internationally known around the world. But I just wanted to say personally, I grew up on your music. I mean, it was a soundtrack of my childhood. I'm from the South, from Mississippi, and even in the South, you were huge. I mean, the heart, I mean, was huge. And so just from a personal standpoint, I know the world knows your music, but just from my personal standpoint, I mean, I grew up on your music, and it's still like resonates with me. So I'm glad to finally meet you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming.
Okay, so I want to start first with a little bit about your childhood. You were an army brat or military brat. You were traveling around with your parents when you were younger.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So then when you graduated from high school, you moved on and decided to start a band. How old were you when you started the band?
Well, I started being band when I was still in high school.
Oh, really?
And when I got out of high school, I went to art college. And while I was in art school, I was still in the band, too.
Uh-huh.
And then, you know, I couldn't do the classes in the band both, so I chose the band.
Oh, okay. So what made you want to become a rocker, though? I mean, back during that time, there were so few women rockers. So what made you want to be a rock star?
Well, I never really thought of being a rock star. I just wanted to play music.
Uh-huh.
And I never really felt confined by being a woman. I just felt like a person, you know, who wanted to do rock, who wanted to play music.
Uh-huh.
So that's basically what I did. I didn't recognize that there was any kind of exclusionary clause in being female at that time.
Uh-huh. So you inspired me, and I'm sure you've inspired many, many other girls. Who inspired you? Like back then, who made you see yourself in the position that you're in right now?
The people who inspired me were all men.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Elton John, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the bands that were out on the radio at that time, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple. Those were all the people that I wanted to be like.
Yeah. So your sister Nancy, you guys shared a career together as Heart, but for this tour that you're on right now, you're solo. What made you want to take that huge leap to go solo?
Oh, well, we both just doing a solo thing this year,
uh-huh.
and we have toured with Heart every year for, since we were young, really. So we both just wanted to stretch out and do something different, get a breath.
Oh, okay. So this is what I want to do. I want to plug an album of yours from the past that I think is just superb. And you mentioned Elton John a few minutes ago. The Hope and Glory album that you released, I think it was in 2006. That album is superb. And if any of our readers or listeners have not gotten that album, they need to get it. Because on that album, you collaborated with Elton John, Katie Lang, Alison Krauss, Winona Judd, and just so many other people. And I think it's just a superb. Yeah. How did you make that happen? How did you get all of them in a room? I mean, you know what I mean. How did you get them all on board?
Right. Yeah. Well, basically, my producer Ben Mink and I went around the country. Well, first we sent out communication that said, "I'm doing this song, and I really hear you on it. And would you like to come collaborate?"
Uh-huh.
And they all said yes. So we went around the country and collected their voices.
Uh-huh. That is super. Go on.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
My favorite song is from my childhood of yours. My favorite song of yours is from when I was probably about 8. It's Dog and Butterfly. To me, it just epitomizes my childhood. It's just so beautifully sung and so beautifully written. Is there like a story behind that song?
Well, I just was looking out my window one day, and my dog, I had a big sheepdog at that point, and she was running around in this orchard that was next door and chasing a butterfly, and of course she could never catch it.
Mm-hmm.
because she was a big, galoot of a dog. But she wouldn't stop trying.
Uh-huh.
And that just really struck me as a physical manifestation of the metaphor of people going after dreams.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Impossible dreams, maybe.
Yeah.
And so that's where that started.
Uh-huh. And you wrote that song?
Yeah.
Oh, that is impressive. That is such a beautiful song. It almost brings me to tears when I listen to it even now. It's just so well written. So you also have an autobiography that you and your sister wrote together, Kicking and Dreaming. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that autobiography, you guys like recount your journey to fame as Heart, and you talk about like your previous marriages and your struggle with Wade and other struggles. So, I mean, we all have our struggles and everything, but what has been your hardest struggle and what has been your greatest success?
I think my hardest struggle has been doing all those life struggles, but doing them in public.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people have problems in love and problems with weight or alcohol or substances or or depression, whatever it is, but they get to do it in private,
Uh-huh.
and they don't get written about in the newspaper, and so that's been sort of like a super big challenge for me in my life. And then I'd say my biggest success was knowing when the right moment was to give myself freely in love.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's also so easy just to be self-protective all the time.
Uh-huh. Because you recently got married. Well,
yeah, 2 years ago now.
Yeah. And you have 2 kids you adopted?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
yeah.
That's wonderful. So how old are your kids now?
26 and almost 19.
Oh, that's great. That's super. Yeah. So,
Uh-huh.
so does any of your family travel with you?
At this point, it's my husband and I,
Uh-huh.
and that's the only family I have traveling.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're on this new tour.
It's called Ann Wilson of Heart.
I see that now. It is Ann Wilson of Heart. So you were at Ram's Head in Annapolis this past week, and you'll be at the Birchmere on Wednesday. So
Yes.
what I noticed about that was, because I was at Ram's Head right before you came this past weekend, and I know a lot of artists who come here and give concerts, but very few can do 2 shows in the same venue, in the same area.
Uh-huh.
So you must have a lot of people who love you around here, because it's very hard for them to put 2 shows in the same area at about the same time. So that's pretty impressive. So your concert,
Yeah.
so at your fans, what will they see at your show? What will they hear?
They'll hear just a few, not many, but just a few Heart songs reimagined. They'll hear some new songs I've written in the last year or so, and they'll hear some amazing covers that I really love that inspired me.
So,
And we have a full video program for every song on a video wall behind the band, and it's just a great little show.
so let me ask you this. Out of all of your songs, I know songs are like babies. I wouldn't say what's your favorite song, because you probably have a lot of favorite ones. But when you're on stage and you're like rocking out, which song is it that you're just like in heaven when you sing it?
A song called "Don't Give Up" by Peter Gabriel.
Oh boy.
I like doing that one.
Uh-huh. Is there a personal reason for that?
Oh, I just think it's a beautiful song, and it's universal to people who feel overwhelmed and with their problems, and reminding them that they have backup, they have friends, they have family. They're not alone in the world, and it's just a pretty pure message, and I really like it.
Oh, that's good. That's a great mantra too. Don't give up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you working on now? What are your fans, what can we look for in the future from you?
Well, I'm going to tour all year
Uh-huh.
with this, so I'll be on the road until the end of October, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, my husband and I are going to travel. We're going to go to India.
Oh, boy.
And, yeah, we're going to spend some time in Mexico.
Uh-huh.
Mexico, probably. And then during that time, we'll decide what's going to happen next year.
That sounds good. That sounds like a great plan. Sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been great talking to you. I mean, I can't say
thank you.
enough about your music. And, you know, I'm a little black kid from Mississippi, and you influenced me. And, I mean, I can remember jumping from the sofa with air guitars to your music. I mean, it was just, like, so cool to try to be like Hart. So, I really do appreciate your music. So, and I hope you have a great show at the Birchmere, and I'm going to try to get out there to see you too. So,
Cool. Thanks.